Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Neetu Jain, working as Associate Professor at Indian Institute of Public Administration, New Delhi. Today, we are going to discuss about the topic Understanding Learning Process and Factors Influencing Learning. Before starting the discussion, let's have a look at the contents. Approaches to learning, ways of learning, methods of learning, factors influencing the learning process, and summary. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand the learning process, describe various ways of learning, approaches of learning, and identify the factors influencing learning. Approaches to learning can be different, and every approach has its own merit and demerit. So, these approaches can be broadly classified as formal or informal learning, self-directed and other directed learning. Informal learning, it is rather casual and incidental. Typically, there are no specified training goals as such, nor are there ways to evaluate the objective of training in achieving the outcome. Probably the most prominent form of informal training is learning from experiences on the job. Examples of informal learning are informal discussions, reading newspapers, journals, articles, etc. A novel approach is hearing the prominent speakers. Informal learning is very cost effective, but it is less effective than formal learning. This method is suitable when there is a strong intention to learn. Formal learning, it is based on certain standards that clearly dictate the learning objectives to be achieved. Here the methods of training are clearly indicated, and some evaluation techniques are also used to ensure that the training objectives are fulfilled. The formal methods are very systematic. Sometimes the evaluation is carried out in order to assess what the learner has learnt. Of course, there are limitations to the formal learning methods as well, as every type has its own merits and demerits. Self-directed learning, it includes the learner making the decisions about how the training and development experience will occur. This form of learning is becoming more popular as self-directed approach can be integrated with both formal and informal learning. Self-directed informal training includes activities like book reading, or you can read a topic of your choice, or you can decide the time of your learning. That is the benefit. Other directed learning, it includes learning where someone other than the learner specifies the training goals that will be met in training, and evaluation will also be carried out to assess whether the goals are met or not. Methods of learning, there are 4 methods of learning: A. Learning by observation, B. Learning by imitation, C. Learning by trial and error, D. Learning by insight. Learning by observation, this is the first and foremost mode of learning. Every human being learns various things through observation. Here by observation we do not mean only seeing a thing, rather it refers to the act of perceiving or observing the stimulus. In observation process, we do not take help of eyes only, rather we make use of other organs also, such as taste, touch, smell as well. We as a teacher should provide opportunity to the students to observe new things according to their interest. We should provide a chance to students to grasp the meaning of demonstration of an action. We should try to fix images of how the model looks in each step of the demonstration. Teachers should provide them verbal directions while students are observing the actions or things. Learning by imitation, students can learn very much by copying the actions Imitation is the tendency to repeat the observed actions of others. In the beginning, a child also learns his movements, actions and gestures by imitation. Students take very much interest in copying the action of others. We as a teacher or trainer can use this mode of learning in our teaching and learning process. A science teacher can teach about experiments through the mode of imitation. This imitation should be willing and deliberate attempt by the students. They should try to imitate the actions of the teachers consciously. Teachers or trainers should try to arouse interest in the learners about the action and then provide the opportunity or chance of imitating to them. Learning by trial and error. As we know that every human being learns from his or her own errors. Like this, trainees also learn from their own errors. They try to solve any problem, and if they do not succeed due to some errors, they try to work on it again. Therefore, a trainer should provide them feedback about their errors and the reasons of the errors as well. When trainees know the errors and their reasons, then they make another trial avoiding the errors which they made in their pre-trial. Here the role of a trainer or teacher is very important, as they provide the feedback about the errors after every trial and then provide them treatment of these errors so that they can avoid these errors in the next trial. Learning by insight. If an individual reaches the solution all of a sudden while solving a problem, we say that he has learned by insight. In fact, the person reaches the solution by understanding the relation between different aspects of a problematic situation. In daily life of a person, he or she comes across many problems and then he or she tries to solve them. In this solving process, they learn many principles, processes, facts and theories. These learnings can be said learning by insight. In the mode of learning's insight, trainees analyze the various aspects of the situation and try to establish a meaningful relationship among them. On the basis of this new perception, he defines the situation and the process goes on till he solves the problematic situation all of a sudden. That is what we mean when we say that a learner suddenly gets an insight into the solution. This is called as learning by insight. Factors influencing the learning process during training. The major task of the trainer lies in strengthening the impact of those factors that facilitate the process of learning. The learning process in the training depends on the general attitude of trainees they have towards the program and the response the training evokes in the participants. Learning during the training can be influenced by two factors: personal factors and environmental factors. Personal factors are related to the participants, environmental factors are related to the training environment. Learning of the participant during the training program is the result of interplay of these two factors. However, the effect of these factors may vary from individual to individual depending upon the situation, because some factors remain active throughout the program while others work in concert. Personal factors. Personal factors influencing the learning process are a desire for personal growth and development. It means every individual wants to enhance his knowledge, skill and competency level. How motivated they are to enhance their level, that's one of the important areas which provides the impetus for learning. These participants have a high degree of dedication and commitment to the program, and which fosters a positive attitude among co-participants. This is a promoting factor in learning process. Incentives for learning. It is the responsibility of the trainer to take note of the factors which motivates the trainee. Some participants who expect some kind of benefit in the form of an increment, promotion, recognition, awards or improvement in their career prospect from their participation in training program can be provided that if possible. Some participants take special interest in training if it is accredited to the prestigious institution and if it can award them with some degree or diploma. Therefore, efforts must be focused in this direction so that such interesting features are present in the training. Consistency between the personal and the program objectives. It is important for effective learning environment that there is a alignment of personal objectives and program objectives. Those participants who are able to translate their learning needs into specific learning objectives take more interest in training activities and enhance their commitment level towards the training program. It is the trainer who helps the participants to perceive their training needs and guide them in setting their learning objectives in accordance with their personal objectives. A regular reminder and continuous monitoring by the trainer acts as a strong motivating factor. Self-image and level of self-esteem. In a heterogeneous group, participants come from different backgrounds, varied experiences, status and position in the organization. Therefore, they have different levels of self-esteem and self-image. Some participants would want their position and status to be recognized by training teams, while sometimes they may also challenge the trainer, which is however unfavorable fallout for the program. Thus, it is to be ensured by the trainer at the beginning of the program that the status and position of the employees do not impact the training program and all the participants are treated equally regardless of their background. In this manner, learning can take place smoothly. Situation in the organization. This refers to the back home situation, that is environment of the organization in which the trainees have to use and apply their learning. If the environment of the organization is not worker friendly, then the participants see no real possibility of utilizing the learning in work situations. On the contrary, if the environment offers opportunities and support from the immediate superiors for utilizing the training, then chances of learning during training is high. Previous training experiences of the participants. The past experiences of the participants in similar type of training programs attended is an important determinant of participants' attitude towards the training program. If previous experiences were rewarding, then he would look forward to similar experiences, but if the previous experiences have been frustrating, then the participants' attitude towards the training program would be negative, and in some cases it might result in a lack of faith in the training process. Participants' learning style and skills. Learning is a highly individual and personal phenomena. It is therefore important that individuals should have the capacity to translate experiences and interactions in the program into complete learning. However, the participants' learning style and the training method should have a fine tuning, and the participant must possess necessary skills to make the best use of the opportunity. A variety of training methods could be tried to suit the diverse learning styles of the participants of this heterogeneous training group. Family situation and personal problem. The training program, especially those which are organized away from participants' hometown or family, play an important role in their learning. Domestic problems like illness of one's dear ones or of oneself could be a reason of mental or physical stress which can negatively impact the learning process during training. However, a participant should be physically fit and mentally energized, alert and stress-free during the training program. Environmental factors influencing the learning process. It could be related to program content or the topic. The participants of the training program examine the relevance of content either to their present work or to their future responsibilities. Some of the major concerns of participants are the extent to which the topics or modules interest them, whether they are important in their nature, which is relevant to their duties, what changes in terms of KSA, that is knowledge, skills, abilities, will the program offer, and what would be the quality of program or the session. Second is training strategies, methods and techniques. Training methods are important instrument for transmitting the content to the participants. Every training method has unique benefits which can facilitate active involvement of the participants and have a visible impact on the motivation of the participants. Therefore, selection and use of appropriate training method can help trainees in internalizing learning. Trainer and the training team. Participants' response to training activities and the learning stimuli depends on their perception of training team or trainers as individuals. The profile of trainer plays a very crucial role. Trainer's presentation style, his expertise, proficiency in topic, confidence level, query handling ability, his rapport with the participants, these are some of the important elements which makes the profile of a trainer. Relationship with other members of the group and the trainers. The relationship of participant with the trainer contributes a lot in the learning process. A positive and harmonious relationship serves as confidence building measure in the initial stage of the program and also helps in reconciling personal differences. A strong bond of relationship between the trainer and participants promote a professional interaction, and such relationship also promotes the learning during training. Composition of the training group. The size and composition of the training group is also an important factor in the learning of the participants. A small group of about 10 participants manage to get the individual attention of the trainers. However, in a large group of 35 or more participants, there are interactions which might lead to group discords or conflicts, and they may not receive due attention from the trainers, and this may hamper the learning of the participants. However, in a heterogeneous group which is diverse in terms of experience, status or level of expertise, a careful planning of training strategy is needed on the part of the trainer. Summary. This module discussed approaches to learning, methods of learning and factors influencing learning. There are two factors which influences the learning of the participants: personal factors and environmental factors. The major task of the trainer lies in strengthening the impact of these factors which facilitate the process of learning. As we know, the factors which influence learning can impede learning or can facilitate the learning. Therefore, it is very important to manage these factors so that learning of trainees can be enhanced during the training program. Thank you, friends.